fucking do. Physicist. Oh, there we go.
We'll go Facebook Live
on the community.
We got sound now. I don't know why the sound just cut the hell out though. So stupid.
Irritating.
On community page.
No, we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
Yep,
we're on YouTube. We're up and running. All right, ready, boys?
Until it gets muted again because Joe's playing music.
That song always makes me want to break things.
Yeah,
Raph, please stop pushing the table because it's knocking my computer all over the place.
Between that and Rage Against the Machine, I just make those songs.
Can you guys hear us?
Want to break things.
I don't know why this freaking audio keeps kicking out. It's pissing me off though.
That's what I have to get into in the morning to get my day going.
Oh yeah, jump around.
Right, so here we go.
Oh, we're back.
We're back,
and we're back.
Where were we? Man, I don't know why it keeps doing that, and it's YouTube because everything is working fine through the program. It's YouTube that just cut the audio.
They suck. That's why. They're no better than Facebook and Zuckerberg.
Yeah, I think they're all. I don't even think I took a liberal shot, so I don't understand.
They're in cahoots.
Yeah.
No, you're handling large packages on the air.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really what it was.
All right, ready? All right, here we go. Ready?
Foul language, maybe.
Starting it back up again. All right, now we have the freaking audio working. So,
all right. I'm so glad because that's basically all we do is audio.
Yeah,
that's all we're good at. Look at this face. We don't want this on TV.
All right, we're back. All right, so we're gonna go back to what I was reading for the guys on YouTube, and then we were talking about was so something about I have to say something nice to Alex Jones, and if I don't, there's some consequences. I have to shock myself in the testicles with a shock collar, or I got to get a cup check from all the brothers on
the vanilla nut
in here.
Yep.
So something nice about Alex Jones. All right, I will say that I think he, even though I don't believe half of his stuff, I think he's a fantastic businessman who's made himself a lot of money and a name for himself.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
So does that mean I can open the goddamn thing now, right?
I think so.
Why is your knife so hot? What did you keister carry this thing?
It was in my pocket.
Prison wallet.
God.
It was in my pocket.
No, seriously, feel this.
Also, it's been sitting there for a while.
Smell. Oh my God! Now smell it.
It's been sitting in my pocket, dude. It
smells familiar, don't it?
My normal pocket knife.
Yeah, it's about the same.
It's not
just a little Irish spring.
Oh my God!
Clean as a whistle.
You were the one holding it for the last half hour while you were diddling with the.
He's going to cut himself.
He is.
Yeah, that's not.
We're taking bets on
use a knife. Were you ever a Boy Scout? I don't think you were.
You know why I quit the Boy Scouts, right? Because I was going for my bear badge.
All right.
And then the only reason I was doing that was to get a knife. And my father's like, "You're not getting a freaking knife."
So I see what we're doing.
I'm like, then I quit. Why am I doing this?
All right. So I see what we're doing here.
Uh-oh. What do we got? Do I see lollipops in there?
Do I want to know?
Yep. So that's the first. The first.
I see another piece of paper.
Hello, gentlemen. Thoughts on Bitcoin, please? Probably not.
It's fake.
Go away.
Bitcoin is fake. It's not real money.
His first prize.
Holy crap!
Invest in lollipops. I will eat all these by the end.
Can I suck on one?
I got something for you to suck on.
Okay, we have to describe what that is. So there's a
big lollipop
big
with like the.
All right, so now there's something else here. There's another package with instructions on it. Congratulations on completing the first task, George. I truly hope you went with just the paying compliment. We
gotta have somebody else read it. Isn't that what
it takes a lot? No, I got this. It takes a lot to be the bigger little man. Proud of you.
Isn't that what Opie said right before he got killed?
I got this. The second task is not quite as difficult. For your second challenge, any two brothers in the room are to go downstairs to Jimmy's. Each brother is then to buy one stranger a drink, then take a selfie with said stranger and the drink for the Facebook or Patreon. There should be really no consequences for this task, seeing how it's not too difficult, but if the test should not be completed or you guys somehow manage to screw it up, the consequences should be determined by the listening audience.
The problem is there's no strangers in Jimmy.
No, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of our task for today because Jimmy's is closed.
Yes.
Is it really?
Cool.
I saw two people down there when we got here.
Shh. Then go
Yeah,
downstairs.
but we know them.
It's just
We know them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we do know that.
There's no strangers that come
Oh,
to
we gotta
Jimmy's.
get the French. We gotta get Jean-Louis.
Oh,
Okay, we'll bring up Jean-Louis.
Oh, we'll bring him up.
Okay, he's for anybody who doesn't know, he's the town drunk that walks around here.
Yeah.
Joe apparently made friends with him.
Yeah.
Ken ran one way, I ran the other, and Joe's just
And
having
now
a
he's my
conversation.
friend. He's my best friend.
Now they're like besties over here. All right, but anyway,
Is that your friend?
so we'll do that. So we'll do one task every time we record. Sound fair enough?
Yeah.
I think that's fair enough. All
I
right, cool.
think that's the only way we can accomplish this.
I got some freaking lollipops. That's badass. But anyway, all right. So let's get into Masonic kayfabe. Talked about where this came from, why I thought up of it.
oh, you're killing me with moving that mic.
Keeping why
Killing me.
you don't even got headphones on. So
going off the rails, ladies and gentlemen.
Masonic kayfabe.
That's why I don't come here.
So, as I've said it before, I'm a much different person in lodge as opposed to this podcast. For one example of kayfabe on here, and we've even said it in Discord that we all play a character, right? We all play. I'm the angry midget. Joe's the soulless redhead. Ken's the robot. But the point that I want to make to this is that inside, everybody hears us on the podcast, so and we are pretty genuine on the podcast, but we do embellish some of the story, not in stories, but embellish how we are. You know what I mean? Like I'm really not that short, but I'm not saying I'm tall, but I'm about average height, I would say.
Yeah, and I'm not really that
For the
intelligent.
Philippines.
For third grade.
For the Philippines, maybe. We're number one, by the way.
Yeah, we are number
But-
one in the Philippines.
Second in Ghana.
Ria?
Nice. No, but in all seriousness, so there is different levels of Masonic kayfabe, and I kind of want to go through a couple of the things I thought of. Joe, what is kayfabe first off?
So kayfabe, it's most currently known in the professional wrestling world, where in essence you don't break character.
Mhm.
So perfect example we were talking about before was the Undertaker. Back in the day, he never broke character. If you were to run into him at a McDonald's or something, he would just stare you down and not say anything. He never broke character. You'd never see him with one of the good guys in wrestling. He just wouldn't allow that to happen.
Right.
So its origins come from carnies. So carnies speak, where they would talk this language that nobody really knew about, so that the unsuspecting, the mark, the person that they're trying to either con or get one over on, doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right.
So it's that kind of whole not breaking character, speaking in code kind of thing. But the main thing is not breaking character.
Right. And the reason why I use the word kayfabe is because when we are in lodge and we are performing a ritual or a degree, this is more, I think, prevalent in the Scottish Rite, is you are portraying a character, right? During one of the Scottish Rite degrees, whether it be Washington, one of the 4 chaplains, whatever the case may be, you're portraying a character. And one of the things that I absolutely hate is when a Mason is portraying this particular character, misses his word, and decides to break his character. Oh, geez, what's the word? It's like, dude, just you don't have to break your character, because actually, I think it actually ruins the degree in a sense. There is, and again, I don't want to name names, but there is one particular brother who is always guilty of doing this, and it drives me mad. He'll miss a word or forget it, and he huffs and puffs and gruffs, and he makes this big spectacle because he forgot his words. Where if you just kept it chill and just turn around and look, just be quiet.
Right.
And it's because now it's like, I don't know, it makes, for me, I feel awkward now, right?
You're taken out of the moment.
Yeah,
That's what it is. You're taken out of that moment where it's kind of you're in kind of this fantasy world, and your mind is taking in the symbolism and what's going on, and then it breaks you out of it.
Well, and to that point, we also did an episode on music that we listened to prior to pumping up for lodge. And we're downstairs and we're having dinner at Jimmy's or wherever, and we're smoking and joking and hanging out. And then I'm like, hey, you're the petitioner. Yeah, come with me. Come with me real quick. We just got to bring you upstairs and do something real fast. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. And then you come back down and eat. And what's actually happened is we're throwing his ass in the chamber of reflection. And from the smoking and joking downstairs to bringing him upstairs, switch. instantaneously of like, now, oh shit just got serious. Like, he's not all smiles and giggles anymore. Now I think it's very important to be able to turn that light switch on and off from playing the character. And let's be real. I mean, you are playing a character when you're doing your ritual and lodge, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. If you're the senior deacon and you're doing the third degree and you're escorting the fellow craft who's now trying to become a master mason, you're escorting him through this storyline.
Right.
The last thing you want to do is just be, hey, yeah, come on, let's go follow me. Yeah. You don't want to do that. You're portraying, or even if you're one of the other parts of the last degree, we're not going to get into it,
right? But you have to embellish. You have to turn things up a little bit.
And even as senior deacon during that degree, I mean, there's a part where you're guiding the candidate, and like in all of the other degrees, you're his guide.
Right.
So you're telling him, hey, it's going to be okay. Don't worry, take a right here, take a left here, that kind of thing. And then once you get to that point in the tragedy, now you're a narrator. So you kind of change your tone with that person because you're just, I can't really get into the details, but it goes from you being the guide to you being a storyteller.
Right. And even in the fellowcraft degree, like when I do the middle chamber, I have a vision in my head. And that helps me get into a character. So when I'm doing it, you're teaching, you're telling a story about a lot of the symbolism that's part of the degree and in masonry. And I've always had the image in my head of that hermit in the tarot card with the staff, with the lantern. So I've actually incorporated the lantern into my middle chamber
because it helps you with your delivery.
Because I'm and it helps with that. And if you're thinking about that, you're guiding somebody from towards the middle chamber, and you're at the outer door, then you're at the inner door, then you're at the inner chamber. If you're going through all that, it's likely going to be dark in that place. So it's kind of just, it puts you in that mindset to deliver it a certain way. That actually makes the ritual really, really good. Somebody that just goes out there and just regurgitates the words just for the sake of doing it. You get something out of it, but it's not as impactful. It's not as emotional. You're not pulling into that.
It keeps everyone interested in it.
Yeah.
Also, when it's more theatrical.
Exactly.
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, the Scottish Rite, I think, has more. For instance, I've always said this: there's one particular degree that I like where somebody portrays George Washington, and it's usually done by Right Worshipful Bruce Belmore, right in New Haven. He does a fantastic George Washington, right? In even some of the parts that I've taken in the 16th degree, 15th and 16th degree, where it's what's his name? It's the table scene, the banquet scene. You know what I'm talking about. You're Scottish, right? You both are.
The Last Supper?
No, the Last Supper.
I don't know, dude. I'm not Scottish.
No, I know what you're talking about.
I'm like
Zerubbabel
straws here.
Zerubbabel, truth, wine, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was always wine, right? That was me. Oh, no, excuse me. I was the king, right? So I had to give this speech, which is trying to explain why. So we'll just give some pretext without getting deep into the degree, but one guy whose name is Zerubbabel is asked a question, and is which is the strongest? Wine, women, or the king? So you have these princes who are part of this, I don't know.
And the one that's
court, right?
The one that's answering with
Xerxes, right? Is that what it
wine? I forget who it is.
Xerxes.
Darius. It's Darius' court, right?
It's not the lash they fear more.
Yeah, exactly. Xerxes was like
it's Darius' court, right? So you get all these
Different
princes and brown noses standing up and saying there, well, I was one of the brown noses. And the part that I had to do was I had to explain why the king was the strongest and had the most powerful sway over mortals and all that stuff, right? But you can't just get up like, the king has the most powerful. You have to play a part. You have to be eccentric. And you have to really get into that kayfabe. Like, you really got to be that guy. And it's very important that you do this because for me, degrees and rituals and whatever the Masonic lesson may be, it just doesn't hit home if it's freaking Captain Monotone. You got to play a part. I mean, take it to the wrestling world. Could you imagine if the Undertaker came out and just walked waddled to the ring and then just did his thing and then waddled back up, he'd suck. Nobody'd be interested in him. That goes the same thing for Masonic degrees.
Absolutely.
Like,
and that's what
puts them behind it, you know?
And when even just as simple as a regular stated communication or meeting, the way I've always thought of it, you have the master who represents wisdom. You got your senior warden who represents strength, and you've got your junior warden that represents beauty. Play those parts. Whenever I'm senior warden, I try to play it like rough and strict.
Right.
Like I'm the heavy. I'm the disciplinarian.
Right.
Because I don't have the wisdom of the East, but I'm the strength. So when there's part of the degree where you're teaching them how to wear their apron a certain way, and there's some orders that you're giving them, I always do them very firmly and almost shout at them to do it, because to me that's what the senior warden is. Where the junior warden, he's the glory and the beauty. He's a little softer, he's in charge of refreshment. He's the fun guy.
Well, not
So you
only
got
that,
the good cop, bad cop, and then you have
not only that, even on a stated meeting,
yeah.
even on a stated meeting, though, all right, you may potentially have a lodge where you have fellow crafts and EAs sitting on the side watching the officers and the masters do their part. And if you're just horse shitting around, I mean, granted, I want to be clear, not every meeting needs to be super serious, but you should, that's fine, but you shouldn't screw around per se during the ritual.
right.
No.
Especially the open and close.
Ritual, you do seriousness.
Yeah.
If during the middle of the business meeting you guys are horsing around and goofing around, which it happens in Morningstar quite frequently, we are a fun lodge. Show is usually the freaking antithesis of why it happens like that. But.
I got Worshipful Brother Bob First really good last night. We were doing sickness and distress, and he was telling how he was out shoveling snow, and he fell on his ass and his face, and like he was in pain. So I stood up and addressed him through the Worshipful Master and said, "How did you know the difference?"
So, I mean, it doesn't have to be serious during the business.
But during the open and close thing and doing
like,
that type of stuff, it should be serious.
Yeah, and if you show that first off, it shows the lower degrees what it means to you. And not for nothing, though, you are an officer. So there is a little bit of an intimidation factor, right? For an EA or a fellow craft. Like,
a little bit, yeah.
It's a little bit of intimidation.
And they should feel that, they should feel that role.
But if they don't see you taking the part serious,
then they
won't.
Why would they
possibly expect them to do
right? You lose something as a candidate if you see that.
And I just want to give one other shout out on this topic because I called him out by name on something else last episode. Right, Worshipful Brother Rob Kerwin, past district deputy. I forget what I called him out on. Probably something silly that he was doing during lodge. But when I was senior deacon and he was helping me with the middle chamber and how to deliver it, he put a vision in my head. He's like, "Look, you're in control at this point. You're the most important person on the floor. Walk like it, act like it." And the person he put the picture he put in my head was Anubis. With the big staff.
Okay.
He goes, that's you when you're delivering this.
The freaking jackal god?
Yes.
Man, I could deliver that lecture if I thought I was the freaking jackal-headed god. Yeah.
And once he put that in my head, that was my vision for that time. Now I've adopted my own and how I want to do it with the whole hermit piece of it. But I'm like, yeah, I'm friggin' in charge. And all of a sudden I got this confidence that came across in my ritual.
Which is the way it should be delivered.
Absolutely. Wow. But it was that subtle thing. It was that, okay, you're playing a part. You're a character. Now, I've seen Brother Eric Meyer deliver the middle chamber as Ben Franklin. And he does it fantastically well.
Right.
But it's a different spin on it. Right. But when
he gets into character when he does that, though.
Absolutely. And he doesn't break.
Wears the glasses, the whole thing.
He's part of the Scottish Rite Fellow Craft degree team.
Yep.
But just putting that little spin, that theatrical spin on it, Worshipful Brother Scott Shalinsky, past master of Ashlar Aspetuck, used to work at Disney World.
Right.
So he was involved in productions and he was a cast member, so he could turn it on and off. When he did the middle chamber, it was like a freaking production.
So I have a question for you. And you've been to the Scottish Rite, and I think you're Scottish Rite too, right?
No, I'm not. I keep telling you I'm not. That's why I didn't know what the.
That's right. You're not Scottish Rite. He's not York Rite. All right. So you guys are backwards.
Yeah,
all right.
backwards.
I got to remember that. Yeah. Scottish Rite. they do this one degree where it's like a country western go out west son degree, and one Mason
Is it the guy that takes care of the guy with tuberculosis?
Yes.
That one? Yes.
You've seen that one?
Yes. Eric Meyer does that one as well.
That-
I've seen Eric do it.
Yes, he's the one, and he gets so heavy into character that you actually believe that this guy's. As a matter of fact, he was talking with the out west accent, you know,
Right,
like
yeah.
that. But you'd have no freaking idea. I actually thought he was from the South and had this accent.
Right.
And then he gets off. He's like, "Hey, how you doing?" I'm like, "Whoa!" How do you do that? But that's called being kayfabe, because if he did it just as, you know,
as Eric Meyer.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you ever have a sidebar conversation with him, guy's freaking brilliant. Like I think he's an engineer by education,
Right.
but just one of those minds where you could just sit here and listen to him, because what he's saying is just so engaging. That's him as a normal person. When he turns it up and becomes a character, it's really like it's really engaging.
So kayfabe is kind of like I was thinking about this earlier, and it kind of, you know, it made me think about the fact that here on the podcast we are who we are, right? Even if we're playing a part, because we kind of are.
Yeah,
we're kind of playing a part. We all have our little like kind of trope that we fit into, but like our whole point in being here is to show the world at large that members of the craft are regular men, right? We're normal people.
Right.
So we try as best as we can to be who we are outside of the podcast when we're here.
Right.
Have you guys ever run into a situation where you were talking with a bunch of people we're all Northerners here, right? We're all from Connecticut. Have you ever been around a bunch of guys from the South and talking to them over time? Eventually you kind of like start having a Southern accent.
Absolutely.
A little bit.
Absolutely.
Or
When I was in boot camp.
if you're a serious person and you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are super happy, like these hippie type people,
Yep.
do you feel yourself starting to like,
absolutely.
so that's something that I was thinking about earlier, and it's not it's not conscious, right? We don't do it. Maybe it's part of like the human condition, because I don't think it's like a mental illness, because you guys just affirmed that you do the same thing that I do. So I'm pretty sure I'm not mentally ill.
Or we all are.
You know,
Or we all have some kind of borderline personality.
but I also
disorder.
think that their conversations with people are like, you would have a conversation with Joe separately than you would say Shane Dufresne, which, by the way, I have to shit on him in a minute, because I'll explain why. It's actually kind of funny. It's pretty funny.
I would never
You
do
heard
something
the story?
like that.
I don't know.
Okay, don't worry about it.
about it though, because I got to deal with him a little bit.
Shane Dufresne is our
Third district
grand,
representative.
yes,
Grand
grand senior
Grand
steward.
Senior steward, yes.
He's going to be up on the podcast within the next 2 weeks.
Great.
But I also, you know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to hold my shitting on him story.
In a
Until he's
roundabout, in a roundabout way, he's not really my boss, because Carl Anderson is my boss,
Right.
but because I'm the associate grand almoner for third district and he's our third
He's
district
the third
representative.
district representative.
Kind of is like
Me and Shane
another
have been
boss.
friends for a very, very, very long time. So me and him have gotten along. And
yeah, no, he's a great guy.
we had a conversation the other day where I called him up and I said, "You mother," and he was already on the phone. The minute he picked up, he was already hysterically laughing. And he's like, "Dude,
he knew what he
I
did,
was
or-
watching my watch to see how long it was going to take when you got that email for you to call." So he was literally already in hysterics laughing. Well, he's going to be up on the podcast in the next couple of weeks to join us. That's going to be a lot of fun with Right Worshipful Shane.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
We'll get into a whole bunch of stuff, a whole litany of stuff,
So
as long as he trusts me.
if I may,
Yes.
I think my whole point in that was I don't think we're playing a part, right? In the same way that professional wrestlers have to play that part, and they do it whether they're on stage or at home or in public or whatever. I think when we're in lodge, we're just doing what's expected of us in the same way that we interact with grandma or our boss versus how we interact with our friends.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like a conscious layer that we're putting. It's not an act. That
No,
we're putting on.
you're not
No,
trying
no,
to pull one over, and it's not a con.
Yep.
It's not
This is
a
more like what I was this is more geared to like Scottish Rite in a sense, when you're actually playing a character.
Oh, when you are,
right?
yeah,
When you
when you
actually
are
have
acting,
to, be Hiram or be, Washington or be whoever.
Yep.
I mean, you could even go, and again, talking even this podcast, like we are who we are, but we do play a part. We do. Again, if you take me, Goofy and all of us goofing around in here, you put us in a freaking lodge, like this shit don't happen.
No, we're all very much the same.
If anything, we're the serious guys.
Yeah,
telling everybody.
We're the guys that'll rip your ass apart if you screw around.
That's true.
By the way, I got to give you kudos. You're doing a fantastic job as secretary.
Doing all right.
I've gotten a lot of compliments about you, and
Killing it, Ralph.
I have one
He's killing
complaint. One complaint.
What?
Venmo.
That's it. As of next year,
I'm a big fan
we
of
will
Venmo.
no longer be accepting cash at Morningstar or checks. Everything will go through
Only
Venmo.
Venmo.
Beautiful.
Right here, buddy.
Then I got
Yeah,
3 letters
man.
for you.
Actually, do you know?
NPD.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. I thought it was going to go with
Venmo is PayPal.
For those of you who aren't watching live, on the D in NPD, Worshipful Brother Joe did the
Degeneration X.
Degeneration
That's
X.
little Georgie's.
Suck.
The D.
That's his bus ride.
NP.
Nice. But in all seriousness, I was more geared toward even some aspects of the York Rite, certain degrees. Again, I would have to say characters would be more of commandery, I guess you would say.
Well, yeah, everybody's a lot more knightly kind of.
The Order of the Temple's got a degree.
Yeah, you have to be serious because if you're not, it doesn't make any sense at all.
Right.
A lot of the wording in it and the symbolism.
I know you got to go. So
slide.
we're going to end up. I think we're going to close it down anyway. Everything we've already had,
Too much
clusterfuck after clusterfuck on this episode. So
Yeah, sorry about the audio, guys.
sorry about the swearing, Rafferty.
So if we're going to wrap it up, so before we completely wrap it up, I just want to have a little quote in to wrap up this episode. So you tell me when we're ready.
Yeah, whatever you are. Keep hearing like weird mic noises. I don't know. It was weird. Go ahead.
So you're done? Like we're done?
Do you want to do anything with that?
We'll hold off till next time, only because Joe's going to get out of
no,
here. And I do have an idea for that thing.
Okay.
So
Final thoughts, Joe.
So final thoughts.
Deep
Go ahead,
thoughts
Jerry
with
Springer.
Jack Handy.
Jerry
Someone once
Springer's a redhead
said,
too.
someone once said that the world's a stage and each must play a part. Fate had me playing in love and you as my sweetheart.
Don't look in my eyes when you say that.
Act 1 was when we met and I loved you at the first glance. You read your lines so cleverly and never missed a cue. You know where I'm going with this, Raph, right? Then came Act 2. You seemed to change and you acted strange, and why, I'll never know.
What is this?
Honey, you lied when you said you loved me, and I had no cause to doubt you. But I'd rather go on hearing your lies than to live without you.
Happy Valentine's Day, everyone.
I'm freaking lost. Somebody will get it.
It's Elvis. Are you lonesome tonight?
Oh,
Someone once said that the world's a stage, and we each play a part.
I actually,
Act 1.
Sirius XM has channel 75. It's the Elvis, and I just listened to that the other day.
Honey, you lied when you said you loved me.
Jesus.
All right.
I'll never
Happy
know.
Valentine's Day, brothers and friends and wives and compatriots.
For the Freemasons podcast, I'm right, Worshipful Brother George Marjorie. Thank God for you signing off.
Worshipful Brother Joe signing off.
Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Brother Raph derailing the whole show.
Love you, everyone.
Filled with pain, shall I come back
Oh, shit. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Have a good night, everyone.
Be excellent to one another.
Mm-hmm.